2, 1. Hey guys, what is up? It's Raul here with Matt and Ross. Today we're going to talk about the Titan. This is something RX, if you've never tuned in before. We're looking at this awesome new piece of fitness equipment that Ross has created. How you doing today, Ross?
Yeah, good.
Good, man. Tell us a little bit about the Titan. What is it? What does it do? How did you come about making it? All that jazz.
So basically it all started when we first, Jen and I created the WOD Strong business, and then Fit Wars 11 obviously coming out soon. We thought like this would be a great way to sort of get some of our promo out there and sort of help them out. So I contacted Ben from CrossFit Adelaide and said, originally our plan was to supply them with sleds.
Yeah.
And we contacted them and said, how do you feel about us giving you a bunch of sleds to use? And then obviously, a bit of promo work off the side for that. And yeah, he was pretty keen for that. And then we caught up and got chatting, and he came up with the idea and said like, how can we make something that basically simulates a tyre flip but is more versatile? And we sort of threw ideas back and forth, and basically we ran through a few prototypes and tested them out. And this is where we're at now. So basically what we've got is, it's basically without all the accessory stuff on it. It's just a standard sled. So you've got your tracks underneath. You've got your removable handles that just slot in. So you can change sides, you can put 2 handles on. Just fully functional sled. Obviously you've got a pin that slots in so you can load your weights up. And then we thought, so we've got a sled. How can we incorporate that into something that we can flip? So we started off, tweaked around with some of the axle designs, and we basically wanted to keep it versatile, that you could store it as flat as possible, but it was also really versatile in what you used it for. So what we've got now is basically from the sled point, we've got the 2 axle bars here that just slide through the holes. So we've got holes that are welded into the frame, and your axle slides through. And then if we take the handles out, straight through the top here, we've got the grub screw bolts. So you just tighten those up, and that just stops this axle from turning, takes all the play out of that when you're throwing it around. From that point, you can just load as much weight as you want, basically. The bolt lengths that we've got set at the moment are designed to take 2 15s or the equivalent width. So we played around with it the other day, and you can get a 15 and a 10 if you want to. But for this purpose and what we're demoing a bit later on, 2 15s is a nice weight. So from that point there, all we do is we take this side plate here, it just slots in. We've got welded nuts inside the frame to keep it nice and tidy. You basically just do your 2 nuts up here, and what that does is it crushes the rubber stripping on the inside against your plates, and that stops the turning. Because when we want to flip it, if I go to pick it up and the plates can turn, it's going to wheel back. So these ends will wheel and it'll run away from me. So the plates just stop that motion. The rubber protects the plates from getting cut up at all when you're smashing it around. And from this point, it's basically similar to tyre flips. So I can come underneath, pick it up, push it over. It just keeps turning end over end. So everything is obviously lower than plate height, so nothing's going to interfere when it's upside down.
To anyone who's like listening to this and doesn't have like the visual side of what Ross was just talking about, it's basically like a sled that lifts up to the height of a bar with plates. You've got plates on every corner. So right here we've got 2 steel competition plates. They're 15 kilo plates, would be the equivalent to 55 pound plates for everybody, that sort of metric system. And basically it mimics a pig, which is like kind of what Roy done in the past. But it's also a sled and also a wheelbarrow and also a potentially bodybuilding machine. Yeah, if you get creative enough with it. Like, this is really like ingenious, like it's really cool. Do not steal this idea, patent pending. I think you're sitting in a bit of a goldmine here, Ross. Like this is a game changer. I'm not sure you like fully realise that or not, but it really is. Like, I mean, it's compact enough. Like, I mean, the first thing that I thought before I came and looked at it was like for me, I mean, I think for a lot of CrossFit gyms, space is like a big thing, and I like saw the video, it looked a bit bigger than what it is, but it's actually like pretty good size. Like, it doesn't take up too much room. It does work as a sled as well, which is pretty awesome, pretty cool. It uses something that we all have a lot of, which is plates. You know, at a gym, you don't need to be getting a whole lot of extra stuff. And I don't know, just the versatility, the fact that it's measurable, you can change the weights. So if somebody's a bit weaker, you don't, like you were saying before we recorded this podcast, the big issue with a lot of people is that you get a tire that's way too big for some, for some people, whether it's kids.
How do you scale a tire?
Yeah, how do you scale it? You can, you've got the different measurable thing, which is a huge thing in CrossFit. You want to be able to measure what it is you're doing, and you want to progress from it. You don't want to just be stuck on the same weight all the time. So it's pretty cool.
And and for us, like one of the things that I guess we sort of like about our business is that we try and sort of support the underdogs in CrossFit. Like not every CrossFit box out there, especially a lot of our local ones that we deal with, don't have like loads of money to just throw around on high branded expensive gear from interstate. Like you're paying hundreds of dollars just in freight to get US gear in.
Yeah, I think AlphaFit do a variation of the pig, and it's like 10 grand.
Yeah,
like
I think the closest one we've seen recently, I know again Fast to make a flipping machine that's very similar to the pig again.
Okay, yeah.
That they call the Wombat, and that's about 1,500 Australian.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the thing that we thought with the Titan at least, is we try and make it as functional as possible for the budget. So you're not just getting a thing that you can flip that sits in the corner. You're not flipping. A lot of boxes don't have sleds, and sleds are a really popular thing in CrossFit. So I like to think that this gives people that motivation to come to the dark side and be like, let's get a sled, but let's get one that can do other things as well.
Yeah.
To justify the money that you're spending on equipment.
Well, being Adelaide based as well, there's nothing like this in Adelaide. You're pretty much be the only person here, so you're saving money on freight and things like that as well. Trying to get in from Rogue and Anytime Fitness.
Yeah, for sure. And
anytime faster. anytime faster.
That's right. And a lot of the stuff that we've sold so far, we deliver to people. If they're happy to drop it off and help them set it up. If it's assembly, like 2 pieces, and I'll set it up for people and make sure everything's good. We obviously care about product quality and satisfaction. So So this range here, we've got 12 that are going to be used at Fit Wars, which is the plan. And basically we're making them available as of now, so people can contact us if they're interested in a reserve one that will hold on the day, and they can take it home with them, or if they want to pre-order or just come in on the day at Fit Wars, fork over some cash and take home a pretty awesome piece of kit.
If people do want to reserve one, how do they get in contact with you?
So there's a few ways you can go about it. You can jump on Facebook. We're on facebook.com/WOD Stronger. You can post on there, you can write us a private message, or you can email us at info@wodstrong.com.au. They're the 2 best ways just to get in contact with us, show an expression of interest.
If not, you can always contact either Raoul or I at Summit RX, and obviously we'll pass you on to Ross and Jen, who are making this fantastic piece.
Now, we've kind of just focused on like the tire side of things. Obviously, it's a sled as well, which you can load up to a decent amount of weight. What are some of the other things that you guys were looking to do with this? Like, we played around and before, came up with some pretty cool, different like innovations and stuff like that.
That's right. So a few of the things that we've played around with that seem to work quite well is as far as the side plates that obviously stop that rotation. If we take those off and just put conventional collars on the axles, you allow the wheels to turn, so we can use it as a wheelbarrow. So we can load weights onto the centre of the thing, lift it up, and it makes quite a good heavy wheelbarrow. We've played around with using it as like a...
We just had some technical difficulties. So you were talking about you can use this as a stretch carry. For anyone who doesn't know what it is, it's, I guess, imagine what the ambos would do. Somebody's on the ground, you pick it up from one side, somebody else picks it from the other. Just a pretty functional sort of movement and carry. Something that we don't see too much in CrossFit. So something to add, to the arsenal of movements that you can add into your WODs and build some camaraderie with partner sort of workouts and that sort of stuff.
Sure.
It's got the wheelbarrow option as well, which is pretty cool because you can load that pretty heavy on here. You can put plates in the middle and then add sandbags to the side. Is there like a limit on weight to what you put on here, or?
I mean, I guess really, if you're wheelbarrowing, you're only limited to the length of the pin in the middle as to what you can put on that before it starts sliding off. But I mean, really, with the frame thickness and the strength of that thing, like I'd be surprised if anyone can max out the frame and still wheelbarrow that thing.
Yeah. And it's like a pretty stable wheelbarrow as well because you've got plates on both sides rather than plate in the middle.
Yeah, that's right.
You can actually focus on putting a decent amount of weight on your hands and not have to worry about stability, which is something that comes into play with a lot of wheelbarrows.
That's it. Yeah, you can incorporate a lot more sort of core strength, just keeping it upright in that movement rather than trying to worry about not running along a straight line and tip a big weight off the side.
But once you top, obviously then you can obviously go through putting a rope around it, hooking up a harness to it, and the next minute you can pull it through. You can obviously pull it through harnesses.
That's right. Yeah, you can simulate it as a drag sled.
Yeah.
You said hook a harness up and drag it behind you.
Yeah. You've got sled pulls. It's pretty much just limited to what your imagination is going to let you do with. Like I said before, Ross do some walking tricep extensions with it, and I'd never even with a rope, and I'd never even thought about. That's just obviously
That sucks.
yes. So that's another pretty cool thing. Now tell us a little bit more about WOD Strong. How did that get started?
How did you guys come up with the idea?
So a lot of the credit goes to my partner Jen, and we basically sort of started the business backwards. She came to me with this idea of an item that she wanted to bring out, and basically what she wanted is over in the States they've got something that they call WOD Box, which is like a subscription to a monthly delivery service, and every month they send out a box and you just get a random collection of like CrossFit targeted merch. So it could be shirts, it could be like strength wraps. It's all just sort of like small promo stuff. So it's a cheap price for the subscription, and every month you just get like a surprise package. And Jen basically said like, oh, we should do something like that, like start that over here, and that'd be good. And we sort of looked into it, and we were pretty keen. And then we sort of expanded to that point, and we said, well, if we're going to do something like this, we need a business. So from that point, we sort of put our heads together. We came up with WOD Strong as the business name, which we think sort of targets what we do primarily as being like custom gym equipment and CrossFit-based machines. So that was the start of the business, and we started off pretty small. I mean, we're still a very small home-run business.
Did you guys end up doing that side of things, or?
We didn't in the end.
It just about that a little bit.
We got pretty far in, and we pretty much got to the point that we had everything lined up. We contacted people and got accounts and promo agreements with a lot of like companies, anywhere from like paleo bars to some of the nutrition companies and things like that. And they were all willing to throw in testers and vouchers and all that sort of jazz. And for us, it was just I think a case of time, like between myself and Jen, we were both studying at uni full time, and we run the business on the side in between work. So just packaging that sort of system monthly and constantly organising it. So obviously we had to run smoothly. We couldn't have orders not going out on time and issues like that. So we just decided at the moment it wasn't working for us.
Yeah.
So that's where we pursued a different avenue, and I used my facilities and skills to start building things. Originally I started just for like a hilltop CrossFit where I go. Russ, the box owner there, contacted me one day and said like, oh, would you be able to build us a drag sled? And I thought like, yeah, no, that's fine. So I whipped one together, and from that point I sort of found a passion for constructing things. And that's where...
Is that your background, or?
Well, my background is mechanics, and so I do a welding module as part of that. And I've done a lot of welding in the past out of hobbies, and I've taken lessons with a friend of mine, and then since then I've gone off and done welding courses, obviously, to get better at that. But yeah, so that's like I currently work now as a mechanic on weekends in between uni. And then in the vast amounts of free time I have between all of that, Jen and I run the business.
So pretty much people can obviously, being custom built, people obviously just can email you, contact you in regards to making pretty much whatever they envision. You can
Absolutely.
sort of sit down with them, get a design going.
That's right, and a lot of the stuff, like we've got a very small amount of stock that we keep on hand just because obviously the expense of having stock sitting there. So, a lot of the stuff that we've done has just been people come to us and say like, this is what we're interested in.
Yeah.
And, we give them a turnaround time and say, all right, if you're happy with the design, we'll build it. And yeah, like you said, it's all custom. If people want something to a certain spec or a certain size, or we've built a few squat racks for people, and in both cases we changed the dimensions because, like I was saying to you earlier, one of the guys is a lot shorter and they have a pull-up bar incorporated across the top.
Yep.
So we measured him up and said like, well, what's your standard pull-up height? We'll build the rack accordingly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's rather than having an off-the-shelf item that is like, we'll make it work for you.
Yeah.
So we make sure that
You have your base design, what you obviously structure most things around, but everything can be adjusted to suit the person, the box, the couple, whatever it may be.
That's right.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys made like attachments for other rigs?
Yeah, one of the items we've made, particularly for attachments, are dip bars. So yeah, we've
I can actually see. I want to grab it.
Okay, yeah, if you want to grab that. Yeah, so we came up with the idea of something that could be incorporated into what people already have, and 99% of boxes just unscrews.
Yeah.
Okay. 99% of boxes have rigs.
Rigs.
So we thought, well, if we can come up with something that will fit into a rig that's got and add a bit of versatility. So we created the dip bar, which Matt's going to bring over shortly, and that basically, can fit into your standard J-hook holes, and yeah, it allows you to work on dip. So it's good for people that are working on muscle up progression. If you can't quite do a ring dip, if you're struggling with that strength, that shoulder position, it's a good way to really isolate that movement.
Yeah.
So what Matt's got here is basically this is the dip bar setup. So it's got a strong C channel that fits around the rig, and then your pin just goes through and the nut just secures it just to take that movement out.
Yep.
And one of the things that I particularly like with this design is because of the C channel design that it wraps around it, so you don't have any sideways movement.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the other ones you see are kind of like a J-hook design that you put it in and turn it.
Yeah.
So if you lean to one side, they can turn.
Turn on you. Yeah. And I find that they're loose as well when you're doing it. They can, obviously just the shaking it with that. I was doing it before, and it's sturdy. Like there's no movement. You feel like it's actually part of the actual pull-up racks and things like that.
That's right,
Which is
yeah.
good, But obviously, it feels like it's part of it, but can easily be removed and then put away.
And with this design, the dip handles are actually tapered out so that it's designed to suit any athlete. The further in you go, the closer they get.
Yeah.
So for smaller people, what you got to do is just move
Move
yourself a bit
it
closer.
out for the bigger guys.
That's right.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Are you guys looking to do any other sort of like attachments, or just taking it like order by order?
I mean, at this stage, we're always open to ideas. If someone comes to us with an idea, we're happy to try and make it work. Yeah, it's really just up to imagination, I guess.
It's only what your limits apply, isn't it?
That's right.
Limited by imagination.
Yeah.
What are your main items? So like, what do you guys have in stock at the moment? So you guys had some parallettes, sleds.
Yeah, so we've got a few sets of the parallettes in stock at the moment. We've got a drag sled, which do you want to?
Yeah, I'll grab that too. Yeah.
So we've got a new version of the drag sled that we've got at the moment. We've got basically the same design as this in the sled version, so it's just a standard.
It's not the drag sled, I know.
So this is our weighted drag sled. This is actually the very first thing that we came up with. So this was plate trolley. When we started in the storage field, we just thought, like, how can we just make storage of boxes easier and affordable? So we came up with the weight plate trolleys, which is what you see here. So it runs heavy duty cast iron caster wheels. So that's about a 350 kilo load rating for that sucker.
Well, how much?
350 kilo.
Yeah, that is not the drag sled again.
What's
That's
that?
also not the drag sled. Drag sled's a
bitch.
Comes back to the wall. There's still another drag sled.
So Matt's still working on the fetch skills.
So for anyone who doesn't know what a drag sled is, it's basically like a sled that can be a bitch to store away. So what you guys have here is basically like a hinging mechanism that puts the pole down, so that it's obviously easy to store away, easy to put, carry when you want to take the sled out to you're going out somewhere, out to the park or going to the beach. Much easier to carry it this sort of way.
So it's basically, I guess simply, it's basally a miniature version.
No, just thinking.
It's painful.
Thinking hurts so much.
It's basically, if you just picture a miniature version of a full-size sled, it's obviously got no handles because you drag it, and you've just got a welded hook on the front that you attach a harness to, and it's just like a backpack strap that goes around your shoulders, and you just load as much weight as you want on the thing, and drag it along. And with this design, we created this flip-down handle so that obviously if you've got obviously if you've got a permanent handle that's sitting up, it takes up a lot more space. Whereas with that, this is very disturbing. Last time I touched that. If you have a drop-down handle, it allows you basically to fold it flat. And as it is now folded down, we're looking at maybe 50 mil height. So you can tuck it under your shelves, you can lean up against a wall. It takes up next to no space at all.
That's that's a really cool design. And the price range is also really affordable. It's good for new boxes starting out.
That's right, and we do, one of the things that we've done with previous boxers so far is, we're always, like I said earlier, we're always trying to help out the underdogs, and everyone's got a great story in CrossFit. There's a lot of box owners out there that are working full time and running boxes and things like that. We're quite happy to work with people, and we do discounts for multiple orders. So if people want several of one thing or just a combination of things, that's when we can start doing some good discounts on items. And for bigger orders or things like that, we're quite happy to work out the payment plan, and you pay up front and then we give you a couple of months, say, to pay the other half. We just want to work with people. Like we want people to have good gear and want them to look good, but we don't want to make them eat gory noodles for 3 weeks just so they can't sleep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Now, this is all really cool. What's your background with CrossFit? Like, how did you get into it? How long?
I started a couple of years ago. A buddy of mine through Army opened up CrossFit Proficient down the hill, and we just got chatting through Army a fair bit. And he was like, "Yeah, man, you gotta come check this out."
Is that Jesse? Or?
Yeah, Jesse Humphreys. And I remember he was running PT out of his house at that point, and I went down there once for a session with him, and we did a bunch of battle ropes and burpees. And I remember just like laid out on the lawn afterwards for like 2 hours, feeling like I was gonna die. And from that point, I think I was just like, I'm gonna get more of this. Like, this is good. And I used to work down that way, so I started going down to Proficient for a period of time before Jen and I moved up to Hills. And from that point, we went and checked out the old Hilltop box that they used to have. I caught up with Russ and Vic, who were the owners there, and I went through a crash course of fundamentals again, just to make sure that everything was sweet. And that was about a year and a half ago now that I've been going up here, and just been loving it ever since.
But since then, you've gone off interstate, gotten your CrossFit.
Level one.
Level one.
Yeah. So I did that. I think that was start of the year. I went over to Gold Coast and did my level one over there, which for me was more just I guess interesting, like to improve my personal skills and learn some interesting coaching tips. I definitely got a lot out of it.
Yeah. What did you think of the level one?
I really enjoyed it. I found like after being a CrossFitter for about a year by that point, like I was certainly no elite athlete by any stretch of the imagination, but I was just amazed at how much I learned about the basics, like the simple lifts.
It just makes you go like, I feel like I am starting again.
Definitely. I felt like I'd never done it before, and even things like the kipping pull-up progression stuff we did, the muscle-ups. I got my first strict ring muscle-up at level one, and I'd never even done muscle-up before, and I was just like, it was phenomenal. I was blown away.
When I first went, it was like, I don't know how to squat at all. Like I was real, like just.
I found that we did our squat lesson, and they were doing the squat therapy up against a wall. And I was just like, they picked me out as the token, like let's fix this guy.
Work on your squats.
And it was just, it was brutal. I was in so much pain, and I just felt like I was like, what have I been doing for the last year? I haven't been squatting, I've been doing something, but
What was your fitness background before CrossFit? Were you into fitness?
So I mean, I guess I've always sort of hit the gym on and off through my younger years, and I grew up playing basketball ever since I was about 9. I've been playing basketball. I played to quite a high level for district and club basketball, and then it was pretty much when I found CrossFit, I sort of started doing a 50-50 blend, and then I think at my age it just got, I don't even sound like I'm 26, but I got to that point where the bones just couldn't take it. I think I just got to that point where the novelty for me of basketball kind of wore off for playing competitively, and I found that I was really loving CrossFit, so that's where I sort of made the move. Now I just play very periodically basketball, just because I still enjoy it, but primarily CrossFit is my fitness. And I played a season of American football a couple of years ago. I've always been a big fan of American sports as well, and there's a few clubs down in Adelaide that run. So I played a season of that, got beaten up frequently, and just couldn't handle it. Body wasn't designed to take that kind of beating. And I was a linebacker, and for those that can't see the video, I'm certainly not the biggest dude. Back then I was like a 70 kilo, 6 foot scrawny kid as a linebacker, so I was just getting rolled over every day by big dudes. So it was like, it wasn't great. But so now I'm just CrossFitting and loving it. Certainly feeling healthier, and even at level 1, I learned so much about nutrition and that sort of stuff. And I went home after that thinking, like, what have I been eating for these years?
Yeah.
Like,
Have you tried implementing the zone diet?
Yeah. So pretty much when we got back, Jen and I started zoning.
Have you found it? I found it really complicated.
I found it, yeah, definitely starting off, it was really overwhelming.
It's like a gram is like not a block, and a block is not a kilo. And
Yeah, none of the numbers work out evenly.
Yeah, but it's like all based on like, because in Australia, like most of the foods give you the kilojoules, not the calories. And like,
Yeah.
it's just so hard.
That's right. Yeah, and we found definitely starting off, it was really overwhelming. And there were days when like I'd come home from work and I was hungry, and I was just like, I want to eat something. I don't want to measure it.
Yeah.
Because it takes that time of like, well, now I've got to go measure the food and balance everything out. I have to eat, like 200 grams of steak, so then I need this amount of that. And it was just like, I just want to eat.
Yeah.
But after a while, I found you definitely got the hang of it, and especially if you don't. I think the key is not to take it too seriously. If you start weighing everything and getting the exact grams, and that's where it'll drive you crazy. You'll either be OCD and you love it, or it'll drive you crazy. And we found that balance of, after a while, we just started eyeballing things. And we would look at food and be like, yeah, that's roughly, the 250 grams I need for 5 blocks.
Yeah.
And I would just eat that. And it was a pretty good guide. You don't have to be that pedantic that you're measuring everything and you're making sure that those balances are exactly 30, 40, 30 or that was good maths. I think that was, yeah.
So,
But yeah, but it definitely, I found early on, I found it gave me some pretty wicked mood swings, and my body took a bit to adjust to it. I'd been told by people that it can cause those sort of things, and it causes weird hormonal imbalances, mainly because of the fact that you're cutting down your carbs so much and you're trying to sort of encourage your body to run fat, so it's building that ketogenic system. And for me, I found it made me it made me feel aggressive. Like I certainly didn't like rage out on people or anything like that, but I just found that my thoughts became really aggressive for about a week. I think it was on and off. Like I felt really frustrated quite often. I was just and the smallest things would just make me really frustrated, and it was just irrational because I could think about it and I didn't know while I was angry, but I was like, what is going on in my body?
Yeah.
And then after about a week or so, it sort of just.
All right, guys, we are back. We were just chatting about the zone diet, how you went with that and stuff. What are your favorite CrossFit workouts?
For me, pretty much anything that has rope climbs in it. I definitely told. Yeah, it definitely helps. I don't know what a standard rope height is, but like to the height that we use them, it's about 2 bites. It's the best that I've got it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an advantage.
Haven't been able to get the 1 bite and done yet?
Nah, I'm working on the 1 bite.
You should be able to. Reach training is about 5'7" or 8, and
Yeah,
you can
1
manage
bite.
to get 1 bite.
Damn, I have to step up.
yeah. He doesn't even use the rope, he just jumps.
Yeah, doesn't even use his legs.
Yeah.
That's how it is. That's who doesn't want
The
bite.
hands are optional.
Just looks at
Hands are
ground.
optional, right?
Yeah, so no, definitely anything with rope climbs. Probably at the moment my favourite workout is 12 Days of Christmas, which I know everyone has their own variation to it, but
It's like, to anyone who doesn't know how that workout's set up, can you give
so basically it's so if you think of the song 12 Days of Christmas, you'd start off with so you'd have 12 movements, and you'd start off and you'd do like 1 rep of the first movement, and then the next round you would do 1 rep, and then 2 reps of the second movement, and then that's 1 rep. So then the next round you would do 1, and then 2, then 3, and then you go back and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and it obviously goes all the way up to 12. So your first 3, 4 movements you end up doing a lot of. And by the time you get to the end, you only have to do whatever the 12th movement is 12 times, and then you're done. So it's like an increasing chipper. It goes for, I think, the last time I did it with our movements, it took about 40 minutes. So it's a pretty long workout, and it's certainly pretty painful.
Before you realise it, like you're really deep into this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound very subtle. And then
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't sound
once you
that
start
bad.
punching through,
Yeah.
you get to about 6, and then you realise you've gone back and done like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
6
6
times.
times.
Like the numbers add up pretty quick, and yeah, it's best not to. There's a few websites online that break it down and tell you like number 6 movement, you will do this many reps total. And it's like it's best just not to do it.
Yeah. I reckon
Just rock up and do
4, 5, and 6, you would end up doing a lot of that move.
Yeah, and a lot of boxes have their own versions, and they'll change the movements So it depends quite heavily on what the movements are. Like a lot of the time, the small numbers are really heavy. Like the ones that I've done have been like 100 kilo deadlift for say 3, or like a 90 kilo clean and jerk for 1. So then you have to do that 12 times once you're tired, it sucks. Or often handstand push-ups and muscle-ups come up early on.
Yep.
So again, they're only small reps, but then by the time you've been through 4, 5, 6 rounds, you start getting really tiring. And then quite often you throw in sort of more cardio style, lighter movements higher up. So you start doing like higher end burpees or lunges, those sort of things in the high numbers. So yeah, it's a good workout because you can pretty much make it whatever you want. You can choose movements that everyone can do. You can make it really hard movements, but yeah, I find it's a good mental test. As you get further in and just go into that hole, it's
Gone to a dark place. And
that's it.
Yeah, burn through it.
Yeah.
Favorite CrossFit athlete? Male or woman?
Well, Jen actually bought a book recently, so I'd have to say Christmas Abbott.
Her appearance, or was she has
A bit of both, I think. Certainly the appearance is no deterrent, but she's done a lot of really interesting podcasts in the past, and I've listened to a lot of the barbell shrug stuff that she's done interviews with, and I think just her ethos on like life and CrossFit is really well rounded about how she sees things and not taking it way too seriously, and I really sort of admire a lot of what she says. So she'd probably be my favourite, I think, based on that. Like I've certainly got athletes out there that I admire their physique and their performance. But as far as I guess inspiration goes, a lot of what she said probably hits pretty close to home for me.
Very cool. Awesome, man. It's been good catching up with you. If anybody is interested in any of your products or wants to get behind the brand WOD Strong, like I said before, they can catch you on facebook.com/WOD Strong Grow.
Yep.
Or info@wodstrong.com. Do you guys have Instagram or anything else like that?
We do have Instagram, which is just WOD.strong. We've got Instagram running for that, so you can see pictures of where we've been and what we're up to at the time. We'll try and keep that pretty updated. There'll certainly be photos coming up soon now that Fit Wars is getting closer.
Very cool. And to all our Adelaide listeners, if you are heading to Fit Wars or if you're interested in getting one of these things, definitely contact Ross. It's pretty cool. It's really awesome. I don't think people realise like how versatile this thing is, and how much like it's just the fact that you're able to scale and measure how much weight you're doing when you're tired, when you're flipping, and how you can make it heavier or lighter. I think it's a big game changer.
It's even how compact it is as well, and the fact that if you buy one, you can obviously sit down with Ross and get custom things done. Like we were talking before about getting longer axles, getting hooks put on it, different things like that. So if there's little things that you want to add to it, speak to Ross and he can hook you up with all the custom side of things as well.
And probably just one quick thing I'd mention is just with for those that are watching the video, the model that we've got here is our initial prototype, so we'll have that at our display tent if people want to come have a play and see what it's all about. But the Fit Wars models that we've got are actually going to be black and powder coated, whereas this one we've got here is just a heavy duty enamel that we use in our gunmetal grey. So just for a bit of perspective, the Fit Wars models will be powder coated and they'll just be black.
Very cool. On that note, once you go black, don't go back. Apparently. Alright guys, thank you for listening. As always, Something RXD. The daily podcast comes out every day now. Check it out. We are on iTunes and SoundCloud. If you'd like to follow these guys at WOD.strong. On Instagram. If you'd like to follow myself, Raul CFTU. Follow us on Instagram, guys. Tell everyone about the show. Tell your grandma, your friends, especially your grandma. She used to know about it.
And your cat.
And your cat. Alright guys, take care and peace.
Yes, thanks guys.